Hey guys, today I am reacting to Geography Now Lebanon. Should be really interesting. And if you could subscribe to the channel and like this video, it would really help out. Now let's get into the video.
If you put Lebanon in a party and asked all the people to describe him, you'd probably get something like this.
He's very proud of his Catholic roots, but I think he said something about being Maronite.
Oh, he was all about being Shia Muslim and loving Iran. He couldn't stop talking about Iran.
Oh man, he hated Iran. He told me he just got back from a vacation from Saudi Arabia visiting his friends.
He said he was like, Druze? Like, what's that?
Oh, nous avons
Oh yeah, it's minority.
une merveilleuse conversation sur la politique. J'étais surprise qu'il puisse me comprendre.
Dude, he was.
Oh yeah, they also speak French, yeah. So I mean, I know Arabic, French are really, those are like the two main languages. I mean, especially Arabic, but they also speak French. Yeah, also they speak a bit of English, of course. I think they maybe speak a bit of Aramaic too. Similar language to Arabic and Hebrew.
Is a total, absolute party animal.
He said he loved to read.
He gave me wood. Like literally, he gave me this wooden cutout of Lebanon made out of cedar wood. So Lebanon.
Because Lebanon loves cedar. Yeah, it's on the tree. It's on the flag even, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, it's a Levantine Mediterranean Arabic country, with Christians, Muslims, Druze. Yeah, it's a cool country. You know how I'd say. And Lebanese people are usually pretty awesome. So let's get into it. Just continue the video.
Lebanon, who are you?
It's time to learn geography
now! Hey everybody, I'm your host Barbs. Oh, Lebanon, you're such a man of mystery. Or should I say, 18 mysteries. We'll cover that in a little bit. But first, where does this man of mystery lie? Lebanon may be small, but oh man does it have a truckload of stuff coming out of it. First of all, Lebanon is located in the rocky yet fertile areas of West Asia known as the Levant, located roughly in this area of the East Mediterranean. The country is just a hop away from the island of Cyprus and surrounded by Syria to the east and north, as well as Israel to the south, with the small dispute in the Golan Heights over the Sheba farms. Although yeah, that entire Golan Heights area is kind of, just watch the Israel episode. Otherwise, the country is divided into 8 governorates, with the capital city as kind of, just watch the Israel. And surrounded by this area of the East in the rocky yet fertile areas of West Asia known as the Levant, located roughly in this area of the East Mediterranean. The country is just a hop away from the island of Cyprus and surrounded by Syria to the east and north, as well as Israel to the south, with the small dispute in the Golan Heights over the Sheba farms. Although yeah, that entire Golan Heights area is kind of, just watch the Israel episode. Otherwise, the country is divided into 8 governorates, with the capital city Beirut itself acting as its own governorate, which by the way, Beirut was destroyed like 7 times throughout history, but like Betty White's career, it keeps coming back.
Even recently, I mean, I'm hoping for the best for Lebanon and Beirut. Yeah.
Betty White is like so dope.
The largest cities after Beirut are Tripoli in the north. Yeah, I know, there's another one. And Junia,
Yeah, Tripoli as well.
a little closer to Beirut. However, the Lebanese trinity would be Tripoli, Beirut, and Tyre, or Sur. These 3 cities along the coast, maybe also Sidon, are like the PR directors of Lebanon. These are like the best places to start if you visit. The country has 1 main public international airport, Beirut's Rafik Hariri International. Otherwise, about 3 military airports exist as well. Off the coast of Tripoli, Lebanon administers the uninhabited Palm Islands, a nature reserve. Otherwise, there's Zira Island by Sidon, and everybody knows about the Raouche Rock off of Beirut. But yeah, not many islands off the coast. So here's the thing, Lebanon has a lot of history. Like seriously, the country in itself
Phoenicians, yeah.
is mentioned in the Bible like 70 times. The borders today are pretty much the result of the French Mandate times after the Ottoman Empire. But prior to the modern times, there was Phoenicia, an empire that extended all the way across the Mediterranean on North Africa to Spain, which also became the Carthaginian Empire that kind of opposed the Romans. And before all this, there was the ancient state of Canaan. All these states took over the region that Lebanon is in today. These places go back over 7,000 years. We're talking about the time when people were like just discovering what farming was. So essentially, everywhere you step could potentially be a historic site in Lebanon. I mean, they found Phoenician temples buried under churches, buried under mosques. The town of Byblos is possibly the oldest city, starting somewhere around 5000 BC. Lebanon is old. Today, though, the country thrives in a modern state. Beirut, sometimes called the Paris of the East, but then again, there's like 20 other places that claim that title. Some notable spots might include places like the beaches of Junia, the ruins of Baalbek, the temple of Bacchus and Jupiter, the Phoenician temple of Eshmun, the Beit Edin Palace, the Roman baths, ski resorts in Faraya, Jeta Grotto, Musa Castle, the mummies of Qadisha Valley, Our Lady of Lebanon of Harissa, Muhammad Al-Amin Mosque.
Amazing sights, damn. Well, let me just make this a bit bigger.
Jabal ad-Druz, various Crusader castles built all over, the National Museum of Beirut.
I'd imagine there's a lot of Crusader castles with the Crusades and such. Oh yeah.
The Sidon Soap Museum, and probably one of the most iconic landmarks, the Cedar Forest Reserve. Why is it so important? Well, let's just say they didn't put a cedar tree on their flag for nothing. Speaking of trees, it's time to move on to... It's often said that in Lebanon, you can ski in the morning and swim at the beach in the afternoon all in one day. The name Lebanon even comes from the Phoenician word that translates to white, referring to the snow caps of the mountains you can find there. Lebanon is divided into 4 main geographic regions: the coastal plain along the Mediterranean, the Lebanon mountain range, where you can find the tallest mountain, Mount Lebanon, the Bekaa Valley, and the anti-Lebanon range. Or as I like to call it, the Lebanot range. Hey, Caleb!
Hey,
good
Paul.
seeing you again.
Good seeing you.
What are you up to, man? You good? You good?
I'm good, man.
Yeah, what was the last episode you were in?
I think it was Germany, maybe?
Oh yeah, we did that gluten-free skit. Yeah. So anyway, these mountains are the source of most of the country's fresh water supply as the ice caps melt, providing 13 main rivers. However, the longest river in the country, the Litani, actually starts in the Bekaa Valley, which gets backed up into the Karaun Reservoir, the largest lake in the country, and empties into the Mediterranean. The interesting thing is that these 2 mountain ranges and the Bekaa Valley are all formed by the same rift system that goes all the way down to Mozambique, caused by the Arabian plate grinding up against the African plate. When it comes to pros and cons, pro, Lebanon doesn't have any deserts. It has great weather, a little arid, but mostly lush and green. Con, just like Jordan and Israel, they have pretty much no oil. But lots of countries don't have oil and they're doing fine, so no biggie. For what it's worth though,
Although I think nowadays they have some oil in the offshore region, so it's pretty good, And it's a bit like Norway situation. They get oil from offshore.
Lebanon's landscape is loaded with fascinating views and formations, like the Batara Gorge waterfall, known as the Cave of 3 Bridges. Can we just take a few seconds to appreciate it? Now, if there's one thing that symbolized... You know what? Yo, Caleb, take this next part.
Why?
Why not?
Okay, if there had to be one thing that symbolized Lebanon, it would have to be the famous cedar trees. Known throughout the ancient world as some of the most highly prized and sought after trees due to their nice yellow color, fragrance, extracts, durability, and immunity to insects. Today, about 14% of the country is forested, and they hope to boost that number up to 20% by 2020. The national animal is the striped hyena.
Really?
Cool. Yeah, I guess hyenas are up in this area.
Dude, awesome job, Caleb. Yeah, I'll take it from here because this next part has some hard
That's pretty cool.
to pronounce words, and I'll take the embarrassment from you.
Oh, that's very considerate of you.
Yeah, you're my buddy. All right. Food! Now, when it comes to Lebanon, you'll find this interesting mix between Middle Eastern and Western.
Isn't what wasn't one of the dishes over here? This fried thing over here, isn't it kibbeh or something like that? I think I've heard kibbeh. Of course, they have I guess the staples as well. Like kebabs and all that stuff. And, hummus and all that. Looks really good though.
Now, every Lebanese person I talk to has said that I have to mention kibbeh, made in various ways.
Kibbeh. Okay.
Sometimes
I think it's pronounced like kubba or something like that, but I'm not exactly sure on the pronunciation. I just
raw. In addition, Lebanon is famous for tabbouleh, fatoush, manish, or mankish, manouche, however you freaking pronounce it, akawi cheese, and snood el set. One controversy I was told was that sometimes in Lebanon, getting consistent electricity is a little bit of a hassle in certain areas. The government only provides partial power sporadically throughout the day, and you have to pay a local generator to provide the rest of your power. Also, when it comes to buying imported electronics, it kind of goes like this.
Hey, I hear that you're the only guy around here that sells laptops. Do you think I can get one?
Sure thing. It's just gonna cost you your entire month's salary for this baby right here.
That sounds outrageous.
Well, the government says that I can set whatever price I want, buddy.
Well, here's the deal. I'm gonna take my business elsewhere.
Go on ahead.
You're the only guy that sells laptops, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, that's why there's an underground electronics market. Anyway, sweet. I think that just about covers it. Now let's learn about that incredibly confusing mystery man that we met at the beginning of this episode, shall we? Pope John Paul II visited Lebanon in 1997 and was noted for declaring that Lebanon is more than just a country. It's a message of freedom, an example of pluralism for East and West. Now that's one way of putting it. I kind of like to see it as a guy that has a beautiful case of multiple personality disorder. Mental health is not a joke. I can't believe you would write that in a script. You're basically the next Hitler. I can't believe that you would even try. It wasn't a demeaning joke at the expense of suffering people. It was a comparison portrayed in a metaphorical context with a positive undertone. Not once did I even say that having MPD was bad. You're the one that assumed it. Yeah, take notes, guys. That's how it's done. First of all, the country has just over 6 million people, around 8 million if you include the non-citizen residents and refugees, and it has the largest number of refugees per capita in the world at over 200 per 1,000 inhabitants. That's about 1 out of 5. That is 1 out of 5. Now here's the thing, making that demographics graph is going to be virtually useless because technically no official census has been taken since 1932.
I didn't even know Lebanon was like made up of so many refugees and such.
Sensitivities of political balance between the people groups. Therefore, accurate data is not exactly available when it comes to numbers and statistics. However, most authorities will say that in the broadest, non-divisive sense, around 95% of the population is Arab and 4% are Armenian, whereas the rest are other people groups. Saying that the majority of the population is Arab, though, is incredibly loose because Arabs are incredibly different in this country. So Lebanon actually usually likes to follow the religion chart rather than the ethnic.
I mean, yeah, and like Lebanese are, Mediterranean at the as well, not just Arabic. It's like Mediterranean, Levantine. So there's a lot of differences between Arabic populations. Because at the end of the day, Arabic is more like a cultural group, kind of, and just like a speaking, like a linguistic group. So you're Arabic if you speak Arabic, like for the most part, like at least countries are.
Ethnicity one. Lebanon has 18 recognized religious sects. The largest one falls under Islam at about 55% of the population. Christians make up about 40%, and the Druze make about 5%. Of the Muslims, about half are Sunni and half are Shia, and of the Christians, the largest sect would be the Maronite and Melkite Catholics, Greek Orthodox, and Armenian Apostolic, with other small sects in between. And for those of you that were wondering, the Druze are like an ethno-religious group of people found in the Levant. They have a large community around Jabal al-Druze. They have a somewhat secretive belief system that kind of incorporates elements of Islam, Greek philosophy, and even a little bit of Hinduism, as they believe in things like reincarnation and a cosmic mind. Now keep in mind, there are somewhere between 1.1 to 2 million refugees living in Lebanon, mostly Syrians.
I think there's also some Lebanese Samaritans.
And Palestinians. These people have limited rights as non-citizens and are usually the center of hot topic issues in Lebanon. Oh yeah, and they use the Lebanese pound as their currency, but they also accept US dollars. They use the type A, B, C, D, and G plug outlets. Yeah, they just go for everything. And they drive on the right side of the road. Now here's the thing, calling a Lebanese person Arab might actually get a few rebuttals. Some Lebanese people I have talked to have said that they technically don't even identify as Arab, but rather Phoenician, or in some extreme cases, Canaanite. I don't know, if you're Lebanese, write down in the comments, do you consider yourself Arab or Phoenician? Culture-wise,
I'd imagine many do, but I mean, there's been a policy of like Arabization, or like many people have been Arabized throughout the centuries and such. It's just like especially with like the Muslim like I guess conquest and such, like the sultanates and the caliphs, right? As they expand, they kind of spread this, the Arabic influence in the Arabic language and such. And if you are like a Muslim, then your country will likely speak Arabic or learn Arabic as well. Like even like Turkey and Indonesia, many of them learn Arabic as well, so they can understand Muslim texts and stuff. But yeah, I would say Lebanon has an interesting history. I mean, they could identify as Arabic if they want to, but they're also Mediterranean, Levantine, Phoenician, whatever they want. I mean, at the end of the day, you can be multiple things at once.
Lebanese play by a whole different set of rules. First off, the ancient Phoenicians supposedly invented the first alphabet consisting of 22 consonants.
Well, the first, alphabet, like you said, kind of earliest known, which sort of is a precursor to the Greek alphabet and then the Latin alphabet, and of course the English language uses the Latin alphabet. Of course, some minor variations.
Consonants and no vowels. This would later inspire the alphabets of other languages. Although Arabic is the official language, Lebanese Arabic is very noticeably different from standard Arabic. Since French and English are...
Yeah, I mean, I'd imagine all of these Arabic dialects are very different, especially like Moroccan Arabic. I've heard it's very different.
Taught mandatorily in schools. Most people are bilingual or trilingual. The Armenians are usually quadrilingual. Lebanese Arabic infuses a lot of French and English words. For example, one greeting all Lebanese people know is Hi, kifak sava, which incorporates all three languages in one phrase. English, hi, Arabic, kifak, and French, sava. Sentences typically mix up the languages all the time too. For example, in standard Arabic, you might say Marhaban, ana ismi barbs. But in Lebanese Arabic, Bonjour, ana esmi barbs. Okay, enough on language. Lebanon's government is interesting.
That's kind of cool, yeah. But like Hindi, in their use of English, a lot of countries seem to mix in other languages as well, which is interesting.
Two, they follow a confessional democracy, kind of similar to what Bosnia and Herzegovina does. The head positions of office must be held proportionally by someone of each main confessed religious community. The president must always be Maronite Christian, the prime minister a Sunni Muslim, the speaker of the parliament a Shia, and the deputy speaker an Eastern Orthodox practitioner. This system is intended to deter sectarian conflict to keep the various contrasting people groups united. And here's where we get into the...
But I would say generally you should separate the religion a bit more, but I guess it's not terrible, but still, like, if you could just completely remove religion from the government, you know, make it more, less, like, theological.
The controversy I'm sure you're all waiting for, Hezbollah. What exactly is Hezbollah? I'm sure you've probably heard of them in the news. Basically, it's a political party mostly run by Lebanon's Shia community, whom actually hold seats in parliament, backed by Iran and Assad-led Syria. They've conducted a series of controversial actions that have earned them the title of a considered terrorist group by various governments in both the Arab and Western world. We don't really have time to get into it, but basically, they've been the central figures of a lot of drama. Look it up. Speaking of which, history. Now, this is where things get a little complex because each of the 18 people groups kind of has their own version of Lebanese history, and we really don't have a lot of time to get far into it, but the quickest way I can put it, Phoenicians, Assyrians, yeah, you already know about all the empires, we've done this like 12 times, Crusaders, Ottoman Empire, Great Famine of 1915, French Mandate, Lebanese fight for independence, Golden Age, Lebanese Civil War, War with Israel, Syrian occupation, Cedar Revolution, 2006 War with Israel, 2012 Syrian immigrant crisis, and here we are today. Today, Lebanon actually has more Lebanese people in diaspora than there are actually in Lebanon, at around 14 million. These people are mostly Christian Lebanese that fled during conflict here.
Oh yeah, a lot of Christian Lebanese overseas. Good peeps, yeah, very good people.
Today, the largest concentrations are found in Latin America, in places like Brazil, Argentina, Colombia, where Shakira's dad met her mom and they made Shakira. The Lebanese are known for being the biggest party animals of the Arab world. I mean, it's kind of bound to happen when you celebrate both Muslim and Christian holidays. Some notable people from Lebanon or with Lebanese descent might include people like Carlos Slim, Gebran Khali Gebran, Eli Saab, Georges Khabaz, Pierre Chamassian, Mei Shidiak, Fairuz, Maxime Chaya, Saint Charbel, Nicholas Hayek, Haifa Webe, Majida El Rumi, the Rabbani brothers, Nancy Ajram, Rageb Alama. So much covered. Alas, we must move on. Let's see how many people Lebanon invites to their parties now, shall we? So again, just like we studied in the Bosnia and Herzegovina episode, Lebanon has a very diverse populace, so it really depends on who you ask in Lebanon when it comes to know their best friends. If you ask the Sunni Muslims, they'll probably tell you Saudi Arabia. Tons of support comes from the Saudis, and they provide economic assistance. If you ask the Shias, they'll probably say Syria under Bashar al-Assad and Iran, especially people in Hezbollah. If you ask the Christians, they'll most likely say France or the USA, since the French have had historically close ties, and the USA does great business and investments. I mean, why do you think they use the dollar as their second currency? Plus, they get to practice their language
Yeah, makes sense. I didn't know how to use the dollar as well, though.
skills on these people. If you ask the Armenians, of course, they'll probably say Mother Armenia and possibly Greece or the Greek side of Cyprus. Armenians and Greeks have been dating each other for centuries. They love each other. Otherwise, Egypt is pretty much a close friend to all of them. The two countries are kind of like co-stars in the media world for Arabs. Many movies and TV shows use both Egyptians and Lebanese people, which brings a bond in itself. In conclusion, mystery solved. The man at the party is truly a man of complexity, yet despite the controversies, he holds it all together because, hey, why worry about it when it's party time? Stay tuned. Lesotho is coming up next.
Let's check out the flag.
And Friday. Hope you liked the Lebanon episode. So many of you guys, the Lebanese geography peeps, helped out with this script, so thank you so much. Now, usually in these videos, I cover the mistakes and the stuff I could have mentioned or the stuff that I forgot in the videos. I usually read your comments. However, the problem is I pre-recorded this episode way before I even uploaded the Lebanon episode, and I'm currently on my way to go to Alaska for the next geography. So if you recognized anything that I could have mentioned or something extra about Lebanon, please feel free to put it in the comments. Teach us. In the meantime, you know what time it is? Let's do the flag. Without further ado. By the way, guys, for all of those of you that have sent me country flags, thank you, because I actually use them in the geography. I do a little flag question. With the larger, which let's talk about the Lebanese flag. The flag is a horizontal tri-band of red and white with the larger white band in the middle and the ever prevailing iconic symbol of Lebanon, a green Lebanon cedar tree in the middle. The cedar tree is a symbol of holiness, eternity, peace, national pride, and longevity. It has been growing in the area for as long as humans have been able to record, even mentioned in the Bible over 70 times, like in Psalms 104. It says, "The trees of the Lord are well watered, and the cedars of Lebanon that he planted." Lebanon without cedars is like China without pandas. Also on the flag, the white.
Huh. I mean, I don't know about the panda comparison because, just pandas aren't really like exactly super Chinese. I mean, it's more like a modern thing. Dragons are more like Chinese. Well, you know, they don't really exist though, but yeah, because pandas are more like Tibetan and such. They're from west Chinese area, like Sichuan and all that area. But anyway, yeah, Cedar's a very Lebanese, I would say. It's awesome.
White symbolizes the snow on the mountains as well as purity and peace, whereas the red stands for... Once again, thank you, Ken, for making that animation. Follow him on Instagram. Ken, you've avoided getting fired this week. In appreciation, I will let you have food for your next lunch break when we're filming Geography Now. Keep in mind, though, over the years, Lebanon has had a multitude of different banners and symbols that were waved all over in the area. Of course, during French Mandate times, they used the French tricolor with the cedar tree in the middle. They were part of various sultanates, emirates, caliphates, and the Ottomans. In the Middle Ages, there were clans that had their own thing going on. There's the Crusader flag that went on for like a century. And the earliest known banner would probably be the Phoenician flag that was flying anywhere between 3000 to 200 BC. Oh,
Not
Phoenicia,
bad.
you guys had such an interesting way of running things in the Mediterranean. Anyway, moving on, the coat of arms, which...
I like the coat of arms.
This is gonna be incredibly easy. The coat of arms is literally just a flag on a shield, except the middle stripe is diagonally tilted 45 downwards left. The technical vexillological term for this would be jewels on a bend sinister argent from a cedar tree palewise proper. Look, I love flags and everything, okay? But sometimes you vexillologists get way too freaking technical. Like, if geography was a corporation, you guys would be like the human resources department or something. Anyway, that was incredibly easy, so you know what that means. Only one thing left to do. Geography fan mail time. So, yeah.
Alright, that was pretty interesting. Let's check out the Geography Now Lebanon comments. Should be interesting. Alright. Bob's Beirut was destroyed like 7 times throughout history. Me, novice laughter. Stay strong, Lebanon. Ironically, get recommended this after seeing news of the explosion. Honestly, Lebanese are the friendliest people that I found on the internet. Love from España. Beirut was destroyed like 15 times. 2020. You can't blame me for this one. Wait. You are now on level 15 on how to avoid controversies. All the love to Lebanon from Armenia. I am Armenian and I love Lebanon and all my brothers. One of the greatest countries I've ever been. I love Lebanese people. Sending prayers to Lebanon and those affected in the explosion today. Stay strong. Much love from Mexico. Yeah. Damn, Lebanon is super cool. Even the flag. Love from India. The flag is awesome. Your portrayal of a history and conflict was actually pretty balanced. Nicely done, mate. Also, we drive on every side of the road. Any Lebanese watching, comment down below. And please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Indeed, just drive. For all vehicles in Lebanon are equipped with all-terrain mode. Greetings from Bangladesh. Long live. Love Lebanon from Mexico. As a Christian Lebanese, I consider myself both Arab and Phoenician. Phoenicians weren't Arabs, but they are Semites. They predate Arabs. Both Arabs and Phoenicians are Semites. We can all conclude that Lebanon and the majority of its people are in fact Phoenician. There have been various studies that support this notion. In fact, this source gives an extensive insight on this topic. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Sorry for inspiring your protests from Chile. Love you, Lebanon from Cyprus. Long live Lebanon, long live Lebanon. From USA, stay strong, stay safe and strong. Fun facts, the USA is the security of Lebanon. Alright, yeah, I love Lebanese food too. But this is a really fun episode. If you enjoyed my reaction, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.